listening and building on what other people say and demonstrating that you're as interested in what they're saying as what you're saying, you actually have something in your mind that you want to say, and you wait for a gap in the conversation, and then you say what you want to say. What you need to do is you might have to ditch what you wanted to say, because it's much more important to demonstrate that you're listening and you're building on what the other individuals in the group are saying. And so that active listening advice is advice that I've given to everyone that I mentor, basically, everyone that asks me for help preparing for an interview or thinking about what they want to do, they will get that piece of advice, practice active listening. But the story that Johnny shared this morning, or the lesson from his father, same man, was that when he was very young, his father told him that, changing organizations is very, very difficult. And choosing the people who are going to basically drive the change is often misunderstood and done incorrectly. He said, because the people who are the worst people to drive change are people who think everything is wrong. So intuitively would say, bring in leaders who recognize everything's wrong, and they'll change it and they'll make it better. But what he said was that people who think everything's wrong, they cannot get into a mindset that helps them believe that this organization is actually changeable, that it can be improved. The second worst people to choose, the middle ones, are the people that think everything's right, because they don't think anything needs change. And the group that you should choose are people that recognize what's good, but recognize equally what needs to change. And what they will do is come in and change the things enthusiastically that need to change, because they will believe in the good of the organization, because they've already recognized it. And the comment was based upon how we as Jews in the diaspora should see Israel, that we should be critically loyal, and it works both ways, loyally critical, and he explains it incredibly well. And then the other thing is that he quoted a U.S. senator, which is I forget exactly what it was, but you'll probably know the quote. It's something to do with my country. This is my country first, whether we're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, or something like that.
It's a toast that Stephen Decatur offered. He wasn't a senator. I mean, he was a military hero, naval hero.
Okay.
But it was went something like, "My country, right or wrong, but my."
That's it.
Although,
that's exactly.
It's true, except he actually didn't say it quite that way, but it doesn't matter. That's the way it has come down to us. My country,
yeah, and
right
so
or wrong, but my country,
yeah, and so he said that's the way that Jews should see Israel, and that so internally we can be critical and know that things have to change, but we should be proud of the good things. We should see both. And externally we have to be fiercely defensive and positive about the country. Otherwise we risk, for a third time in history, we lost the temple once, we lost it twice.
Right.
If we lose it a third time, there's no excuse,
Right.
And anyway, so it was a brilliant 20 minutes.
It should be observed that Stephen Decatur was killed in a duel, but
Oh, really?
I believe so. I have to check it out. I think he was.
Well, anyway,
but
Johnny did say that. Yeah. Johnny did say that he doesn't even know who said it, but he knows it's been said by many people since.
Absolutely.
But,
I think there may be some controversy, even though it is always attributed to Decatur. There may be some controversy over whether, in fact, he did say it.
Interesting.
He's more right than he knows, I think, about that.
Yeah. So the point for what I want to do is that, Derek Pugh, his father, and like I want to talk about the importance of learning and organizations and the team that you build at some point, and the fact that you're constantly pivoting when you start things that are new, and that you need to have people on your team who are not negative, because if you get in the negative, you have to get rid of the negative people. Mm-hmm. But also they can't be totally positive. They have to have that ability to see what needs to change and change it, because that's what creates that's the pursuit of perfection. Or the pursuit of better. And I want to mention him and how, there are certain people that when they're about to be quoted, another one for me is Abraham Joshua Heschel, but when someone's about to quote people who you admire, you have this anticipation and you're almost never disappointed. And so you go back for more. So when I'm looking for a quote, I use many quotes from Abraham Joshua Heschel, because, I've always found a quote that fits a life moment. And, anyway, so, so that was my input today on the next chapter, really, or the first chapter. It's that I want to find a way now. I think it was maybe my job, not yours, or I can't remember, but which one of us. I think you were going to get you may not have it yet, but I think you were going to get the last week's conversation transcribed, and then sort of map out the different chapters of the book so that we can see some kind of structure and see how we're going to pull all this together. But certainly this first chapter, I really want to state what the theory is.
Yeah.
And the hypothesis.
Yeah, okay.
The sort of,
I think that's a good idea, especially in view of the preface. But then, do we want to? I don't know if we want to establish alternating chapters. I mean, maybe it might be too. It might end up being too mechanical.
Yeah, too forced. Yeah.
But certainly can. I mean, we'll see what happens, how it works. It shouldn't stop us from doing that kind of pattern. It just may be that the shift from the life anecdote to the marketing principle may not always, the one may not always require an entire chapter. I mean, I think that maybe we just structure, however the chapters are going to be, we just structure the rhythm of the book that way. I'm not sure. I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't have to solve that right now. We can start outlining the book that way and see how it plays out. If these things correspond to a chapter, what may work better in a practical way is, for example, that may be a special case because it's sort of laying out the whole premise of the book, but you may have a particular marketing technique, and sometimes when you're going to talk about a technique, you may want the chapter to begin with a life example,